What is up? Welcome to a Shared Screens review. We're going to talk all things Nintendo Switch sports. I'll be your lead reviewer, Austin Ernst. Joining me on the panel as part of Shared Screens, we have Alec Bobko and Bret Jamerson. Not Jet Bramerson, but close enough. How we doing, guys?
Fantastic.
Ready to talk about some sports? Some Nintendo sports,
Oh, yeah.
not Wii sports?
Let's ball up. Let's do it.
It's going to be hard not to call it Wii Sports.
Yeah, it's probably going to slip.
I do like the alliteration of Switch Sports. Like just say it real fast. Switch Sports.
The thing that throws me off is like the Wii Sports. It wasn't called Nintendo Wii Sports, was it?
Yeah.
Was it?
I think it was just
Wii
Sports. But I don't say Nintendo Switch Sports. I just say Switch Sports.
So do I.
Yeah.
All right. Likewise. Before we get into
drop the Nintendo.
Sure.
Cleaner.
Before we get into the nitty gritty, I need to say that at the top of the show that there is a TikTok version of this review up on TikTok right now. So go over there, give it a like, comment, share, subscribe, maybe follow over there, right? On TikTok. So do all those things, interact with it. Just if you like it, if you want more of them, you're gonna have to do that. So same thing goes for our YouTube channel. Give us a like, comment, share, subscribe. You subscribe here, Yeah, do all those fun things if you want to see more for the algorithm, of course.
2 social network references within the first minute. Let's go.
Hell yeah, that's the way you do it. Yeah, support us if you like what you saw, even if you don't. Support us anyway. That'd be great. So before we get
it's just a click of a button.
If you don't like us, just keep commenting, liking, and sharing to boost us so that we get more popular, so that you can hate us even more if you don't like us already now.
Yeah,
so just think
big brain thinking.
Yep.
Hold a fast one on you. Not very fast, but anyway, before I get into my rating, I want to hear your guys' impressions of Nintendo Switch Sports. Just like your summary statement of your impressions of the game and what you think of it. Let's start with Bret.
I had a lot of fun. So I've only played it for like 5 hours, so not too much, but I roughly like an hour with each sport. And I had a lot of fun with it. I think I want to get first off with the online. It was perfect. I played it all online, and like not once did I like think I was playing online in terms of, oh, here's like lag or delay or whatever. Like it felt perfect to me. So, which is kind of unheard of with Nintendo games. So I just wanted to shout out that first, because I was blown away. Like, because that game is so like, reflex heavy with, playing all the sports. Like I never felt like I messed up because I lost to like a network delay or whatever.
You have the OLED version, or are you playing on the OG Switch?
I have a Switch OLED, and I am Ethernet wired in.
Yes. Yeah, I think that because that was my experience too, and I agree. It was smooth sailing the entire way. But I did mention, it's in my notes somewhere, that hey, this was great. This is actually a surprisingly good online experience. However, I have the OLED model, so maybe that changes things. Alec, it sounds like you might have a different opinion.
Yeah, not necessarily like a different opinion, but I had, I'm on the base Switch model, like this is a launch Switch. So no, improved battery, no OLED screen. And I was playing wirelessly too. Mm-hmm. And I only had 2, maybe 3 games that ever just dropped because they couldn't communicate with other consoles. It wasn't necessarily saying I was the problem. I was saying it just couldn't communicate with other consoles. But then the other thing that was for me, I noticed it a lot in like bowling. Like it just, I don't know if it was just like over reading or not quite reading like the way I was like, curving it at all. But I'd immediately go back to like the single player and offline, and I'd bowl, strike, spare, just fine. So I don't know if it was just enough of an input lag where it just wasn't quite reading mine. So
yeah,
it could be. I also, even though I had the OLED, sorry, Brent, even though I had the OLED version, I also unplugged Ethernet just to see if it would still work, and it worked fine. I did have a few like where it said connection error or whatever when I was playing tennis, but that's all I can speak for, and that was not Ethernet. Most of the time I did use Ethernet port because it was there, so why not? But I just to test it, just for the sake of the review, I took it out just to see what would work, and I had a fairly smooth experience. So, and maybe
other than those
the
few
OLED version
things,
changes enough of that too. But yeah,
that totally makes
honestly fine. Like for the most part, it was just like bowling. I could tell there was just like, because it was just immediate when I went offline. It's like, okay, it's not me. It's something. It's like there's some lag somewhere going there between online and all that. But most everything else was fine.
Yeah, now that that totally makes sense. That Ethernet definitely probably makes a huge difference on compared to Wi-Fi. But but also like so many Nintendo games I played online with Ethernet where it's just like still horrific. So that was just, I guess, my own personal experience. I did have one game that got dropped, but it was like at the beginning, so it just like searched error code and then I searched again. So I didn't like, it's not like I was
Same
like
with me.
up
In
4-0 or something.
using both the Ethernet port and just Wi-Fi, I never had a game drop. I only
Okay.
had like connection issue or whatever a few
Yep.
times. That was it.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, all the sports I felt were excellent. I never played Wii Sports Resort, so I know some of the like the Chambara and stuff that was completely new to me. So for this particular game, there's a lot of new content compared to what some people might expect from, who played Wii Sports Resort and things like that. Um, I thought the motion controls were pretty good. There's a few times in Badminton where I've like, again, like my room's not too big here, so like I can't be like swinging around and stuff like all crazy. But like there was a few times where I thought I swung and it didn't swing for badminton.
Yep.
Maybe that's just me. Um, but yeah, I thought all the games were fun. Some of the games have some complexity to them that I appreciate, and
All while still being fairly simple and pick up and play and
yeah,
easy.
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, like soccer, like wherever you spawn, like I was like, okay, like here's the field, here's where everyone is. Okay, I need to play a little bit back, and so I like that a lot.
Mhm.
Although holding a Joy-Con, have you guys seen the stuff on Twitter? Like people are throwing their Joy-Cons now into TVs. I guess
Yep.
that's
Once
happening
again,
again,
the Wii
bringing
Sports
it
effect.
back.
I'm sorry. There it is. The Nintendo Switch Sports effect.
Yeah. Uh, I haven't done that yet, fortunately. I've not been using a wrist strap because I don't know where my wrist straps are. So I don't know. I haven't been using
So
them.
they're just
But
naked? You just have that weird lip on them?
yeah. Or no, I don't even have that. No.
That's what I mean.
I
Like if you don't have the slide on, you have that weird groove because it has to slide into the
right.
screen. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, I
Yeah.
hate
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
thing. I have to put on the thing immediately. I hate it.
Okay. Well, so I want to bring that up too. This is probably like the 10th time in the 5 years the Switch has been out where I've used Joy Cons because I got
Yep.
a Pro
Same.
controller like pretty much immediately, and then literally every game has some sort of Pro controller support. I think when Super Mario Party came out, I played a little bit of that, obviously with the Joy Cons only and things like that. But so it was like I was like, oh, I found like some Joy Cons. I was like, oh, they're not charged. I was like, I guess I have to just use the ones because I play dock too. I'm docked 99% of the time, so
Same.
I never have to use the Joy Cons. So that was interesting, and it's just a little bit harder to hold. I feel like than the Wii remote because it's a little bit smaller. So just had to do like a weird little grip like that to hold on to it. But
I
um,
personally didn't have any issues with like the grip or stuff, but I also have more experience. Like you said, you usually don't do that. I do because I mean I live with my fiance and like I have a pro controller. If I'm playing by myself, I use a pro controller. But I know she doesn't say it, but I know she's like, "You're using a controller. I'm using these Joy Cons. So like, can we go back and forth a few times?" So yes, we'll swap back
mm,
and forth. I'll use the Joy Cons. Have her let her use the controller. She doesn't say it,
Yeah.
but I know it's there. But
yeah,
yeah, I had no issues with that. But I also have more experience. So
yeah. I like the progression. It's fun and cute. Like I'm like, oh, cool. I get like a new racket, or I
you
do
mean
think it's
online? Is that what you mean?
yeah, only online. Yeah, I was listening to the kind of funny impressions, and I was like, oh, I didn't know it was only online. Which, that's how I
So
would want to play for most of the time because I don't have like a lot of people over. That will be a fun game to like do when you have like parties or hangouts.
oh yeah.
To bring that back again from 2006. But yeah, it was interesting to lock like cosmetics in terms of like actually changing what your person looks like
Mhm.
behind the progression because like I started to make my dude and I was like, wait, I can't like I only have like three eyebrow sets or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
I can't make
And
my guy look the way I want.
no
Do you
glasses from the start. Like, come on.
Really? See,
that does seem like a
that,
miss.
that's wild. And then okay, and then what are the new people called? I think they
Sports
have a
mates.
name.
Sports mates,
Sport
I think.
Sportsmates?
I think
Okay.
so.
I made that dude, and then at the end it was like, "Do you wanna pick your me?" And I was like, "Of course I wanna use my me just to, throw it back and do retro." So, like, it's funny seeing the me face on the Sportsmate
On the body.
body,
Yeah, it is
uh,
funny.
but I was like, nostalgia fest, let's go, let's just do it, like,
Totally.
do that, yeah,
So,
yeah.
follow-up question. Do you think since they put all that stuff in cosmetics, it allowed them to be lacking on the character creator? Like, do you think that was a purposeful thing that they said, "Oh, we can just give them this blank thing because they'll earn it later"? Or do you think that's kind of like a fault of everyone needing to earn it later on online?
I think, like, because some people like with I don't even know what they're called. It's not a battle pass, but like you have like 10 days to unlock the first tier or whatever.
Mhm.
It's I don't know if you guys saw that. It was like
Yep.
10 days
Yep.
to unlock the first tier.
I
Yep.
unlocked it all already. I got it done.
Okay, yeah. I
Oh,
played for
nice.
5 hours and I'm almost done with it. So, and I'm not sure if like you unlock stuff based on what game you're playing because like I played the sword game and then I unlocked the sword cosmetics. So I was like, is that tied
No,
to
it's a
like?
I
specific
don't
order.
Yeah,
Oh,
I didn't know it was a specific order because it shows, like, the randomized thing,
yeah. Okay, that.
and if that
Well,
were the case, I don't play Chambara, and the first thing I got was that sword, and I'm like, "Fuck." Like, damn
well,
it.
that was interesting. It might be random then because I just assumed it was or a specific order because my first item was the glasses, and I was watching Brett's stream last night,
It
and he
knew.
also got the glasses first.
It knew, Alec. It's like, You're gonna
Interesting.
want these." But
Interesting.
So,
it's because I looked at the cosmetics there, I'm like, "Ooh, I want that beanie. I want that beanie so bad," and the beanie was
mm,
the one I got, like, 2nd to last, and I was so mad.
also,
Ah,
maybe it is random then because yeah, I got the beanie like third or
Okay,
fourth.
so
yeah, I got
we've
it
solved it.
fairly
We've
early.
cracked it. We've cracked it. It's random.
Earlier. Okay. Yeah, I all the games are fun. Uh, excited for golf. Hopefully they
Hell
expand
yeah.
it with more like games and more modes within all the sports. I don't
Underpin
know if it's
bowling. Come on.
I don't know if it's different with like because I was single player online, but like tennis every time was like me and my clone. Like it wasn't me and a random duo. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
because I know certain games have like two-player modes, one-player modes. So
I think it just depends on like the how they're connecting to other players. I think if it struggles, it's like, yeah, you're fine. We have two players here right now, so we'll put you in against these two, and you can play both of your spots on tennis. Because
yeah,
I had both instances happen where it was just me versus two people, and then I had two characters, and I had one where it put me with a rando as well.
huh? Yeah,
Oh,
because like
okay.
volleyball was a random duo all the time, and um, yeah. So I was just like, that's yeah. I just didn't know, but
Mhm. At least I think that's what it was. It might have been volleyball, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I've had both instances for both of them. But
okay.
yeah, so you aren't bothered by the fact that playing offline you don't get any points towards cosmetics.
I don't know if I would ever play offline unless like I had friends over or something because um I don't even know how many people can play offline. It's just two, right? Is
Yep.
that the limit?
Yeah, it says like local 1 to 2 people. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so
it's four. It's four
Usually.
offline,
four.
only two online.
Okay.
Okay.
Four. So that's a good amount then if
Mhm.
that becomes a thing. But I mean most of the time, you know, I rarely like have like local couch co-op or like something like that anymore. So
Not even just to
uh
practice.
uh I like practicing against real people, but that's just my preference.
I think it depends
Mhm.
on what sport you like because like I would play with just my fiance Hallie. We would play bowling and it's just the two of us and we're going against each other. But we'll play bowling online and like if you have like one bad round in that, you're gonna get
Oh
eliminated
yeah.
right away. So then
Yep.
like
Oh
I'd
my
move
gosh.
on right away or she would move on right away and I'm just sitting here watching her play. So because of that instance, I was like, I wish you could kind of earn at least a little bit. Like I understand if like when you're playing online you earn because in bowling if you win the bowling thing you get like 100. Like,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
you fill up a whole circle right there. Whereas, like, other sports, you might get, like, 30 to 40, maybe 50
I think
if
that's
you
why
did really
bowling's so popular, is because you can
yeah,
get the
if you did
most
really well.
experience.
Yep. If you can get the most
Huh.
experience the fastest by playing bowling. But the other ones,
Hmm.
you get, like, a max of probably, like, 45 to 50. But that's why so, like, maybe Hallie and I wanna actually play a full game and not be eliminated right at the beginning, and we really like bowling, so let's say we wanna do that. I think we should earn I understand if we're not gonna earn as much. Like, that totally makes sense. I
Oh
think we
yeah.
should earn, like, 5 to 10 for playing a game, and if you win, you get, like, an extra 1, or maybe literally just 1 point, so you can at least build it up over time by playing or something. I think there needs to be something, but that's also just me as someone who plays locally with, like, my partner, so
Mhm.
might have a
I have the
different
same
taste.
sentiment. Like it just because like even I know it wasn't much in Wii Sports, but you had your level, and it's like even just playing a regular game, and even the training just increased your level at that sport.
Mhm.
So even
That's
if
a
it was just
thing
like you said, just a
here.
little bit.
That's a thing here too for bowling for something. Like there's some like super league or pro leagues thing that I don't know anything about, but I saw something about it. I don't know I might have to research it after and see what that's about. But there is
Mhm.
something to do similar to the old Wii Sports in at least bowling. I don't know anything else.
Yeah, kind of funny you mentioned the ranked like playlist stuff
It was like a
for
special
one
league
of
or
the
something
sports
like
or
that.
all of them. I didn't even see that
I
because
didn't see it
whenever
either. So that's why I
I
can't
did
speak
not.
personally about it. But I know I saw something about it.
because
I can't speak for the experience.
yeah, whenever I played online, it was just like, what sport? All right, go.
Yeah,
So
what sport? Here's the people. You wait for people to fill up the room, then you play. Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
I did have one bowling thing where like maybe you just play enough and then it puts you in it, see if you can like rank high enough or whatever. Because after I played bowling online like I don't know 5 to 10 times, the next time I went into the bowling elimination thing, it was like it had obstacles, whereas before then it didn't.
Oh,
But it had the
interesting.
Mm,
obstacles in the course, yeah. So maybe you just to play enough, get to a high enough level, like the system just knows, and then it puts you into these ranked things.
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe not.
yeah.
But that was my experience. Alec, anything else to share? Just your basic thoughts?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Think it's. I mean, they have good sports to start off with. Can't wait for to see. I know they're adding golf in the fall,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
um, I don't know. It just seemed kind of bare bones almost. Like there wasn't not. It's not I want to say a bad thing, but it's just like the whole progression just being put in online. Like I wasn't a huge fan of that.
Mhm.
Um, there was a couple times like the motion controls might be too good. Like I don't know if this is going to like the network lag thing, but like I was bowling and it's like I could have swore I put like the curve I like just did on it, but it curves the other opposite way of what I was doing. So I'm like,
Mhm.
it's like I
Mm,
don't know.
It's definitely more concise. You can't. I have it in my notes later, but you can't cheese it as much as you could on Wii Sports, where like
Yeah,
you could
like
just kind of sit there and do a little wrist flick on something, and you're pretty much playing the game. Whereas here, if you do that, it's not going to go too far. It's not. You're not going to succeed.
mhm.
mm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
can't
like
cheese.
exactly. Yeah, like we bowling, you could just twist that thing and go, and it would just curve like crazy. But here, you actually have to like do a decent amount, not like go just crank it, 100 degrees or whatever.
For science, I
Um,
did go all the way to the left and then go like all the way to the right, like angle it, and then just put a
mhm.
massive amount of curve on it, and I almost got a strike. I was pretty happy with myself. Like
Nice,
Oh,
it's like trying to tilt the
nice.
whole thing over. Yeah, and then I'm like, yep, I'm done. My shoulders are broken. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, my muscles on like the side of my like my triceps. Whoo, whoo
I
wee.
Hmm.
yeah, I played it. I played it for like 4 hours, and turns out standing up and doing all those
Hmm.
motions actually like it can be pretty taxing. I was like,
Oh
man,
yeah,
I'm glistening a little bit. Oh my gosh.
I probably put in close to 10 hours in the last 3 days, so my arms hurt. And it
Yeah.
worked like every one of those days. So like my body's like, can you stop? And I'm like, for the review, push forward. Things I do. All right, anything
But
else?
yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this game. Like, and it's a little, like I said, it's a little
Oh,
or sparse to start off, but in some minor complaints. But overall, I enjoyed it.
okay. And a lot of things that we talked about, I will bring up briefly in my notes just because we
Mm.
already covered it, so I'll move on. But the score I gave Nintendo Switch Sports, the shared screen score, tell me what you think about it, is a 7.5. What do we think about that as a
Mhm.
score? Does that seem accurate? Am I pushing it too far? What do you think?
I agree. I think because when I see 7.5, I think good.
Like
And
it's a good, like a good seven. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Hmm.
like yeah, it's not it's not like a transformative game, but I mean the game's aims isn't supposed to be that. It's just supposed to be a collection of mini games. Um and to tap into that Wii Sports nostalgia, which I thought it did fairly well. I definitely was like, oh yeah, like this is like kind of like, reliving all these memories of Wii Sports. I mean, one of the most iconic video games of the last 20 years, if not ever. And so, yeah, uh, I thought that's a fair score. Yeah.
Sure. What do you think, Alec?
Yeah, I agree. I was kind of, if myself, I was kind of leaning more towards like right around 7, so 7.5. Yeah, I can see where that
Yeah.
lands.
And I think it gets pushed up to the point 0.5 for me personally because like this like as soon as I started playing I was like this is a 7. Like this is just
Oh
they're
yeah.
succeeding at
Yep.
what they're aiming for. They're not trying to change the game. They're just doing the same thing, modernizing it, making it more tight. Pretty much what they did,
Hmm.
and they summed it up. That did lead to a lack of variety, but we'll get into that. But yeah, I think the point 0.5 comes from, and this is just a me thing. The cosmetic system really worked for me because I don't give a shit about that stuff normally. But
Hmm.
as I'm playing, and I think I think it start with bowling, or if you don't want to get addicted, don't start with bowling. Because my first game bowling online, I got the full circle, right? And I got the 100,
Well,
I got 101, and I got the little gift, and I'm like, oh, did they fool me? Did they fool me, Alec? Go ahead.
yes, they start you off with a thing full of bots or like very low skilled players
Oh
because
no. I didn't mean after that, but yes, you're right. That did happen. But the first time I really played, I won. I
okay,
got my PR, which was like 208 or 210 or something like that, and I filled it all the way up. And I'm like, dope. And I think that's what
nice.
hooked me. I think that's what got me. But
I
yeah,
mean,
because
battle
usually in
royale and
like
bowling. Come on.
totally, that's in my notes somewhere. I said elimination. It's literally called elimination bowling, and I'm like, that's pretty freaking cool. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. But yeah, like if we're playing like Fortnite or Rocket League, like I was really into Rocket. Like that was my shit. Like if I stuck with that through college, I might have gone pro. I'm not saying that lightly. Like I was good at that game. I could aerial and I could take on people. There was a I don't know if you guys ever played Rocket League. Just as a slight tangent. They have little name tags by their names, and some of them say like season blah 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 champion because they had the most
Mhm.
points, they had the most wins or whatever. I played I 1v1 him and he beat me 7-5. So like whatever, like he's good, whatever. And then I saw him again and it was 3-on-3 and I lost 10-7. And I'm like, I'm hanging with the champ here. Like that's pretty good, right? So yeah, that just
Mhm.
went to my head immediately, but yeah.
Yeah, I have over 3,000 hours in Rocket League, so
I
yeah,
love that game. I
I
haven't
love
played
it.
it forever
We
now.
should play sometime. I didn't know you were into Rocket League. We should
I haven't
play.
played it in a long time, so I'd get in there and be like, I'm so bad, but I bet you I pick it up eventually. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just like a muscle memory. Okay, I would be remiss not to mention the banger music, like the menu music. Like it's homages
Mm.
to the OG, and it's still like it's fresh and like I loved it. I don't think there's a bad track in this game. Like they're great.
Yeah, it
Let's
was
say,
like
oh yeah, go ahead.
I was grooving to it, man. I was like, it's kind of like, okay, here we go, here we go,
Sure.
let's go.
I will say, I literally like even tweeted this out. Shout out to like the online when you're in online bowling, like that music when you're like waiting for people to finish. It's a vibe.
Mhm.
There's like they're gonna be wait. They might be waiting a while. Let's bring out the big guns right here. Like let's give
Right?
them the track. Sure. Okay, so Spocko Square. Do we know how to say this word? Do you know
It's
what I'm talking about?
Spoko.
They
Is it
they say it
Spoko?
at the beginning. It's
Okay.
Spocko. Yeah.
It was one of those things where I was like, I'm just gonna like spoil this. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do it wrong. I'm gonna say it wrong. So whatever. What is this? This is a word. Okay. Yeah. We jump into Spoko Square and you immediately create your character. Like that's what you do. So we talked about the character customization. I thought it was it lacked a lot compared to Mii's, but I do like that the Mii option was there, like Brett brought up, and it is really funny. I laughed pretty loudly when you see the Mii's face on top of the dude. Like it's kind of funny. Hallie made hers, and like I didn't keep my Mii face because I was like, whatever. But Hallie was like, "I want this," and she put it on there, and she kept it, and she's playing alongside me. And every time I saw it, I had a little chuckle, at least at the beginning. So,
I
so
did see
yeah, I do.
somebody create Matt as a me, like
Oh
from
yeah,
Wii
yeah,
Sports.
totally. Yeah, I do think, and maybe with the more cosmetics you earn, the more you'll get there. But I do think it lacked a little bit of the magic that the Mii's had, because like from the get go, you can make whoever you wanted in a Mii. Like you
Yeah.
could make like I went to my what's it called? In-laws, Jesus. And they had their Wii, and they kept the Wii for a long time. And there were so many people in there. There's one called Goat Man. There's like Stan Lee's in there. Like there's a bunch of people in there, and they're always really fun to look at. I just don't think you can establish that with this game. Like I think there was more magic, more fun to be had with the creativity with the Mii.
Mhm.
That a little tangent, but yeah, that channel where you could download other people's Mii's and like
Oh yeah.
I remember downloading like a Samus, Captain Falcon, like Michael Jackson, like yeah, this was like
But
2007. So,
sure.
but yeah,
Mhm.
wild, dude, wild.
We'll get into the games one by one soon, but I think we mentioned it already, but I do think it's worth mentioning that golf is coming.
Mhm.
I think if golf was here at the beginning, it might have been an 8. Like because
Mhm.
if they have a serviceable golf game, I think that's a game changer. I honestly do. I don't want to speak too soon, but I think if they had
Mhm.
golf and it was really good, like it might have been an 8 because that might have pushed it. But
Yeah.
we'll see. But yeah, at its core, I think Nintendo Switch Sports, it's genuine fun. It's party game fun. It's the second coming of Wii Sports. I think it's all the same games essentially with a few new ones, just with more sound mechanics and less variety. So you only have 6 games here, which even in the original Wii Sports was there 6? Am I remembering that right?
There was
Bowling, baseball,
baseball
boxing, golf,
and tennis.
and
So
tennis. So
5.
5.
But even with those 5, they had more like miniature games and challenges
Well,
within
because
those
that was the
games.
training. There's the
Yeah.
training that had like 3 per
Mhm.
sport.
But even those training things, they're like the bowling, the training bowling is dope. How you kept adding more pins and more pins
Yeah.
and more pins. That was fun. Like I think
And then in
even
Wii
with
Sports Resort, they even just added a 100-pin bowling mode where every frame you had 100 pins.
which is super dope. So like even going back to the original Wii Sports, which had less games to it, like it had 5 games, right? Maybe it had 6. I don't think.
Yeah,
But I still think it had more in there with those 5 than
agreed.
these 6 have. I think that these 6 are more sound. Like I think the movements are there and it's more technically sound and modern. But I think there was more in terms of substance in those 5 rather than we got with these 6.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a fresh enough take. It lacks a little bit of variety, magic, and creativity. It's kind of like it goes alongside the sports mates with the Mii's. Like
Yeah.
it's the same
Yeah.
thing. It looks better. It works, and it's just a little lesser of like a value in a way. So yeah,
I
it
don't
does go hand in hand for me.
I don't know how you would like take stock of this, but I just think having a new version of Wii Sports at all is some benefit, I guess. Like, I mean, how many people still have their Wii's hooked up, right?
Main loss.
And yeah, and like 480p, like sub HD, all that stuff. I think it was nice just to like just to play these kind of games again on a modern
Totally,
ish
totally agree.
like system.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Yeah, there's not like the audience for this game has to be massive. Like you can be just like an old coot who never plays games, but you have a Wii or you had a Wii at one point. And you're like, I guess I'm getting a Switch now. Like, or just like us who we play most games. Like we're like, this game is a must buy. Like at least for me, it was like, it reaches all audiences. So I think Nintendo knows
Glad it
what they're
wasn't
doing.
the full $60.
What
yeah,
was the price for
it was
the?
50
$40.
for me.
Okay, because
I got
40
the
if you buy
physical
it
version.
digitally.
yes, that was my follow up question because it comes with the leg strap. Is that what it comes with? I'm assuming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, because I bought it digitally. I already have a leg strap because I bought.
Ring Fit.
Ring Fit.
Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you. So I was like,
Same.
oh, that's weird, and I didn't think about that. And I was like, oh, so if you buy it physically, does it come with a leg strap? Like I didn't know the answer to that. So thank you
Mhm.
Yeah.
for answering that question. So like we said, there's a little bit of a lack of variety here, but it is still really really fun, and I think it still managed it. They succeed at what they made, and even after I realized that the novelty was kind of waning a little bit, like I just think the novelty factor was really high at the beginning because it's like nostalgia. You
Yep.
know what you're playing, you're getting into. Even though it kind of fell a bit, I still wanted to play really bad. So like even though my high kind of dipped a little bit, I was still like I'm here for this. Like soccer is really fresh and fun. Tennis is always fun. I want golf really bad. Bowling, I feel like bowling is like the saving grace of Wii Sports and this. Like, if you don't get into any of the other games, bowling, like you would probably buy this package if it was just bowling. Maybe the full price, but you probably
Mhm.
want this bowling game. So,
Mhm.
like we said before, easy pick up and play mechanics, and we went deeper with that. With like, yes, it is easier to pick up and play, but they are more sound. There is more depth to them in a way. Yeah, we already talked about that.
Like the lob shots and all that.
Yeah,
Like
and
you
you
can
can like
actually curve
slice
your.
it. hmm
Yep.
You can slice antennas and that kind of stuff. Mm. Yeah, and then piggybacking off of that, during some of the more fast paced moments, like in volleyball, tennis, maybe the camera can sort of work against you sometimes. Like if you're going back and forth, back and forth, back
Yeah.
and forth, the camera can fight you. I think soccer has happened a few times too.
Soccer,
Which
yeah.
yeah, the camera's pivoting back and forth because you have this massive kicks and stuff. Um, but yeah, I think that it didn't happen often, but I still
Mhm.
think even if it happens a few times, it's worth mentioning because cameras are hard. I get it. I understand. It's
Oh
hard to
yeah.
make those and never have an issue. But I do feel like there was a point in time where like the camera really messed with my head and I had to kind of like reorient. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Soccer
definitely
soccer I felt like was the not it wasn't that bad. I was able to kind of work around it, but um and maybe this is like a Joy-Con thing, but like this like moving the stick with the camera was like I don't the Joy-Con sticks are so weird to me. Like it's just maybe it's just me not getting used to it, but
I think it's just you.
yeah. But like, but even when the ball's like flying over your head a lot and the camera's just like shifting like crazy, it got a little intense for
I mean,
that.
you say you like Rocket League. I would bet money, like my next paycheck, that when you first started Rocket League, that you had that same effect on you. Like you're seeing the ball go back and forth, and you're seeing these massive hits from the cars and stuff. Like I would bet money that like after playing it for so long, that stops. Like once you start
Yeah.
playing soccer, if you play it a lot, I feel like
Mhm.
you would get used to the camera movement and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. We touched on you can't cheese as much. So I think as you can't cheese the movements as much. So I think as a given, that means it's a little less forgiving. And
Mhm.
I think that's both positive and negative because like some players they're not going to care. They're just going to sit down on the couch and they're going to be like, oh, they're going to be forced to play by their
Waggle.
cousins or whatever. Yeah, and they're going to be, and then they're not going to have any fun because But then it's also good for the people like us who are like maybe we want a little more of a sound realistic experience when we're playing like competitively like against our friends like we have beef and we want to like
Hmm.
I'll meet you on the badminton field. I don't know what the hell that's called. You know what I mean.
Court.
Court,
Thank you,
yeah.
thank you. So yeah, um we touched on that. I do think the magic in this is having a squad to play with locally or just playing online with friends. Like I think that's the magic.
Do we know with online, is there like, can you hey, 6 friends, let's squat up and, run some volleyball and we'll rotate in and out. I don't think that's a thing in this game, right?
I don't
I don't
think
think it is.
so.
That'd be dope. That'd be really
Yeah.
cool.
Not
The
like
biggest
Smash
number I've
Bros. Where you
seen on
can like spectate and get a group of people in and they can spectate while they're playing.
that'd be great to have, but it's Nintendo, so I don't really see it happening. I'm shocked golf is coming later. Like honestly, like poof, thank God that it's coming later. But yeah, I think the
Yeah.
magic is with playing with friends, playing with people. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah,
if
pretty
they had online like that, that would I think really help it ascend into like it's gonna be popular anyways. It's gonna sell a ton, I think. But I think like yeah, that would be like a regular rotation multiplayer game if it had
like a
like
private lobby kind of a thing.
yeah, like you invite 6
Mhm.
friends, 4 friends, and you
I
just
can
run.
see an entire Twitch channel just being that. Like just
Yeah,
Oh
friends doing
yeah.
that for the fun of it. Like I can see that
yeah,
being a thing. Yeah,
I will
and then we
say
talked
that
about. Go ahead.
you're just going back to like sales and all that. It did come out today that it was number one in the UK
Mhm.
over the
okay.
weekend
Awesome.
or last week, I should say.
And we got to remember too, Nintendo doesn't disclose their digital
Digital.
sales. So when you see
That's
it
just
in the
physical.
UK or you see it in MPD, later this month, like
Doesn't
that'll
surprise me
just
at all,
be
honestly.
yeah.
Like I said, it's
It's
kind
always
of
gonna
an
be higher. It's always gonna be
And
higher.
it's
it's
an all
literally
out of the
the
insane,
last day. The last day.
and it
Yeah,
Or
still was
second to
number
last
one.
day.
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like again, it's crazy, but it does not shock me at all. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
okay, and we talked about the surprisingly smooth ecosystem. Alex said there was a few hiccups. I had a few hiccups, but nothing
Yeah,
crazy. And the OLED
nothing
version probably
crazy.
changes that. Probably changes that. So we can go sport by sport. But I told Alec about it before we started recording. Fallout 3. So if I'm bringing up this game during a Nintendo Switch Sports review, do you have any inkling why I would bring up this game right now? Any inkling at all? Any guess? Because you're not
Uh,
gonna guess.
can I have a hint?
It's a sound.
Uh, a sound.
I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Too much dead
Yeah.
air. Too much dead air, Brent. Okay. When you pause the game, it sounds identical to when you pause the game or go into the Pit Boy in Fallout 3. So when I heard this noise, I'm gonna go on a tangent. You know when you like smell a scent, like let's say you smell banana bread, and your grandmother made the best banana bread in the world. You smell it, and you get these happy chemicals. Like serotonin or whatever. I have a lot of tonins in my brain. Um, yeah. So I heard that noise, and I couldn't locate like the pause menu noise happens, right? And I get serotonin or I get all happy. And I had no idea why. I had no reason to be like, oh, I'm in a great mood now. And then after doing it over and over and over and over and hearing that noise, I was like, there it is. Like it's identical to the pause noise. So yeah, cool. That's only a me thing. That's literally only a me thing. But you got a little bonus point. If I could give this system a 7.6, I would do it.
It's not the VATS noise, right?
No,
It's a different noise.
no. That's like, psh, like that's just a weird noise. But it's
Yeah.
just a boop. Like it's like a certain boop, but identical. I'm telling you.
I wonder now I'm like, did I ever pause the game because I played
I
online
don't think I
and
did.
I
and
did.
you're in the match and then you're in the menu and there's some downtime where I was like just on the menu doing something else, but yeah, I don't that's yeah.
I also played a lot locally with my fiance, so that's there's more times to
Mhm.
pause when you're playing
Yeah.
local. So
Oh yeah.
I heard you played soccer locally. Did you? Did you play
I did.
soccer locally? Is that
Yeah.
1-on-1 then on that huge field?
I
You
played
can
locally
do
by myself, so I did not play Hallie in soccer. So
Okay.
I don't know. I played like
you can do
4v4 where I was the only
1-on-1.
real player. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
you can do 1-on-1 as well.
yeah, 1-on-1. I think you can do 2v2 and then 4-on-4,
I don't
Okay.
know about
and then
2v2.
shoot it out.
Yeah, shootout is something I didn't experience because I didn't want to
Same.
find my leg strap.
Leg
I
strap?
don't care.
Yep.
That's
Yeah, I
it.
didn't do that. I was like, if I stand here where I play, I would like kick my desk.
I did look into
That's
it,
about the
and
same for me.
essentially, it seems like it's just timing. Like
Yeah.
all that is that shootout when it's just timing. It's just timing your
Mhm.
kick. So
hmm
I was like, you know what, I'm good. So I've talked a lot. We're gonna go down the list of game by game, and we're gonna start with clearly the number one, in my opinion, bowling. What do we think about bowling?
It's the
That's the
goat.
one I started with that. I started with bowling and tennis just to get that
Same.
nostalgia feel and just to see how it compared to my, you know, feelings from the original Wii Sports. Um, I really like bowling. It was it was like Alex said, it was more precise, or like it might be too good in terms of like sometimes I would do the motion and like it would do that weird thing where I would throw it, but then it would like pull me back and be like, nope, you did it wrong or something.
Yeah.
And so I
Yep.
was like, oh, okay. And then I did notice like in real bowling, and I actually went bowling like 2 weeks ago, so it's kind of like fresh in my mind of like, oh, like I let it go right at this perfect moment when it's like when my hand is lower to the ground so that it hits it better and just
Mhm.
glides towards the pins as opposed to like sometimes I'll release it too high and it was, that thud and then it goes like sometimes that happens too. And so yeah, it was very fun to relive that. Um uh yeah, sometimes the motion control can be too good where I thought I curved it a certain way and it would go the other way or it would curve too much in the way I thought I was trying to angle it. And then again, this might just be the online, but I wish there were more modes in bowling because I think it was just elimination. If I'm not correct, that's what I played every time I played
Yep.
it, and it did suck. Where like uh, the few times I played online, I was like, "Oh, sweet, I'm doing awesome." Um, I'm winning or making it to the last round or two. But yeah, like I think having the elimination be the total score, if you're down bad, you're done. Like there's just no way you're gonna come back
You get a
unless
split,
somebody
it's game over.
Yep.
unless some
If you get a 9, you're done. Like you have to get at least a spare, and or you're
yeah.
gonna be eliminated.
Yeah, unless like somebody messes up massively, or again, I wish there were more modes where like maybe it's just like each 3 sets or whatever the term is. Like, oh, you're in the top whatever of this set, cool, you move on. That way, like if you mess up, but you still like, I think that would be something interesting.
Or
Just
maybe
to
if it was just two, like if it was like 4 frames in the last two or something like that.
Just to
yeah,
make it last longer. I see what you mean, totally.
there's a few online games where I was like, I made it to the semifinal, so like the top 5 or whatever, something like that. And I was like, okay, I'm like down 20 to the guy who's gonna make it to the
Yeah.
next round.
Yep.
Because I was like in 5th. It was like the top 4 for the final, I think, something like
Mhm.
that. I was like,
Mhm.
I'm really under the guy who's barely making it in. I would have to have a mass round. He'd have to mess up. And I looked at the first place. I'm like, he has like 165 already. Like,
Yeah.
what? This is like insane.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I was like,
That's what
that's odd.
I was definitely thrown off after that first game where it's like, oh, I got like 150 and then everybody else got like 70.
Yeah,
Dude,
Give you that
literally
false sense of
they get like
confidence.
a total of 30 in that first round.
yeah,
Yeah.
When you play
dude.
against big people, yeah.
I'm like, that's what I do in real life. They stink.
It's when you
But then
start getting
everybody
like
online's
real
just like,
names.
yeah.
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 It was just a little, I won't say disheartening, but it's just like, okay, come on.
Again, I don't
It's
think there's
literally
like
day
a
one.
I don't think there's like a MMR ranking associated with this, right? It's just whoever
I
you
don't think
get
so.
is whoever you get. I do think this because sometimes with online games I'm like, oh, it sucks playing, Fortnite and if you're kind of good, you're just gonna go against sweat lords all the time. Whereas this one, I'm like, I kind of wish I had a ranking because this is more of a casual game and in its approach in terms of how the developers approach it and how I approach it too, right? I'm not trying to like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, uh,
Put money down. Let's go.
yeah, or what's that? What's that meme that bowling dude? He's like, "Who do you think you are? I
Ah,
am."
yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
like I'm not
Yeah.
trying to do that when I'm playing this game. So like,
Norm Duke.
okay, so like it just sucks like going up against somebody who's like not who's getting a strike every frame. That's a turf frame.
I will say that once you get the curve down, there's almost nothing cooler than you curve a
Oh
strike.
yeah.
Like you get this massive
Mhm,
curve and you get a strike, you're like, hell yeah.
mhm.
That's what's up.
Mhm.
Yeah, totally. My best round was 210. I just wanted that on the record.
210.
I did 210.
Ooh,
Okay.
And that was the
I
first
was
time I
like
did it.
$176.
That was like the first time I did it like with real people, and ever since then I've got like 140. So
that's
I don't
pretty
know what
good.
happened. Yeah, I think it was beginner's luck.
210. That's yeah. I
That's
was
really
like
good. Yeah.
180 or something like that. Yeah,
210 is my. It might be like 208 or something, but it's pretty close to that.
yeah.
So, yep. And I did have that feeling where I was like, I got to move on to another game for review. I got to play tennis. I got to play volleyball, and I was like, I'm gonna keep playing bowling. Like, okay, one more bowling game, and
Yep.
then I'll move on.
Dude, same. There was each mini game. Like I played longer than I thought I was gonna play because I was like, with other sports, I was like, oh man, I've lost two in a row. I can't go on. I lost, and then I win, and I'm like, oh, like you gotta ride this
I ride the
streak, man.
high.
You gotta ride
Mhm.
the hotness. Yeah,
Totally. All right, we okay to move on to tennis?
let's
Oh
do
yeah.
it.
Bowling's great. I think it carries it. Like I said on the top of the show, maybe not top of the show, but in the middle of the show, that if they came out with a game that was literally just the bowling segment and they cost like $10 and they priced it at like $10, I'd probably buy it. Just saying.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
So, so tennis, and I just mentioned there's nothing cooler than getting a strike on a curve. Is there anything cooler than coming back from 40-0? Because I did that once and it felt so good. So
Mhm.
hell yeah. I think tennis felt great. I think like when you first start, I was the only time I would ever get scored on is when I messed up. Like when it was clearly like I sliced
Mhm.
this or I did something wrong. It wasn't like I was getting screwed. Like I when I play tennis against people, like I usually am what gets myself scored against. I'm what gets them. I hit it out of bounds or whatever, something along those lines. 1v1, 2v2 are the options. Yeah, you can't move around like on volleyball. Or is it the other way? No, you can move on volleyball, whereas in tennis you're just kind of
Correct.
there, right? Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
I
goes wherever. Yeah.
I think I would like to move. I think I would like the ability to move my player. I feel like it kind of put me out of position a few times, but I mean that is what it is. But like in volleyball, you're allowed to
Mhm.
move, and I think I would like that control scheme for tennis as well. What do you guys think?
I personally didn't use the moving in volleyball. I thought for the most part it positioned pretty well.
Yeah, I caught on to volleyball. Volleyball surprised me. I caught on to volleyball pretty early on, and once you start playing players that know what they're doing, you have to move. Because if you don't, you're just going to be
Gotcha.
stuck in the middle, and you're going to be out of position. They're going to spike it to the corner, and your guy's going to dive a millisecond too late, and it's just you have to. And the thing
Mm.
is, like you have to guess. It's pretty much a 50-50 every time. Because like if you think they're going to hit to the left, you got to go to the left and dive and get that shit. Whereas if you go right and they hit it left, well, too bad. But
Mhm.
we're talking about tennis. Talking about tennis. So, but yeah, I think I would like to move. So, Brett, what do you think?
I definitely understand that. The I think the discussion with that is then it's going to require two Joy Cons, right? Because
Volleyball didn't,
um,
and you can move in volleyball. I think. Could be wrong. I'm pretty sure you
I
can.
Yeah, you can
I
move. You
thought
can just use it because it's
yeah,
just motion controls, and you just use the control stick to move.
I think the only one that needs to is soccer because you can kick
it
with both legs.
it depends, right? Because if you're holding this one, right, and you're it's at the bottom. Yeah, I don't know,
Well, then be
but
left-handed.
Or just don't use that one.
just
Just get
switch
the
it
other
like
one.
that. Uh, I for me the movement doesn't bug me. Now, granted, if I play like um whoever you're going up against, Austin, like
More competitive players.
you might need to like actually get to move. But I liked like taking my brain off of like worrying about movement and just worrying about
Yeah.
timing.
Yeah, I do
So
think there's a sweet spot. Like I don't think maybe the movement should be entirely you. As like the mechanics are really tight in swings, maybe the movement should be more forgiving. Where if you kind of like nudge to the left, you get like a little hop skip or something, like something where there's
Mhm.
kind of a half step in there. I would like that, but I see what you mean.
yeah, because like, and granted, this goes for badminton, volleyball, tennis. I liked like just worrying about the timing. And even when there was times where they hit it across
Mhm.
the field, I knew I could still time it to just get it over on their side of the court and then reset and worry about how I'm going to respond to their next hit, knowing what kind of hit they're going to get because I had to like go out of my way and swing it back. So I was still
Badminton
able to work around that for me.
Badminton does seem like the one where it's like, all right, fuck you. Meet me on the court. Because
Dude,
that's like 1v1 and it gets fired. It's so fast and you're going. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that one's the one where like we're settling this.
that's the one where I got like the most intense with because
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like
I lost a bunch in a row and like yeah but yeah, tennis, going back to tennis, I haven't played Wii Sports OG in quite a while, but I do feel like there's more there a little more complexity with tennis in terms
Can actually
of
curve it.
you can actually curve it, you can like the timing of the hit matters, whereas what from what I remember with Wii Sports it was just you just whacked it back, right? Like
Yeah.
and it was just like if you
I
missed it.
do. Maybe I just have a different opinion. I do think tennis is. I probably don't have a bunch of 1-to-1s. Like there's only so many that were on Wii Sports, and it's also on this game. But I think tennis was the most similar. But maybe that's just me. Maybe tennis as itself,
No,
as
yeah,
a
I
game, is
agree.
just that way. But
Mhm.
in my experience, I think it was the most similar one, where it had the
Oh yeah.
least difference. But I see what you mean. There is more in all the mini games that are here. There is more complexity to it. I agree with that statement.
I just meant like the volley back and forth, the timing mattered more, whereas
Sure.
in Wii Sports tennis, it was like uh
I'm thinking of that video where it's just two people in the front going back and forth, like really, really
I
fast.
was
So they
just
can
thinking about the same thing. It's like
it was
you don't really
that
get that in Switch Sports.
Yeah.
it was that the serves mattered, and then from what I remember, like it didn't matter when you hit it as long as you hit it, it would just go back, and it was
Mhm.
just like you just had to hit it. But
Totally. How do you get the fast serve? Because I would get that randomly. I couldn't time that.
yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I
I
don't
think it's
know.
just
I
timing
never
and
got
maybe
it.
how hard you swing.
I,
I
it's not how hard you string, dude. I promise you. Like I almost threw my shoulder
may-
on this fucking game, dude.
maybe it was just placebo because I was like sometimes when I thought I swung harder, it actually would go faster,
Mhm.
but maybe not.
I don't. In bowling, there is an extent to that in bowling where if you kind of
Oh
just
yeah.
it will go slower. But at tennis, like I tried that as a theory just to see if I could smack this thing
Well,
as hard as I
because
can. No way.
the
No way, dude.
thing, one big difference between the Wii Sports and the Switch Sports for tennis is serving. You actually have to like use the Joy-Con to like throw it up. You can't just hit a button to toss it up. Because that's how I always would serve in Wii Sports. You could hit A and then it would toss it up and then you just swing it. And like, that's the
Right.
easiest way to time to get the fast serve.
Right. It's been a while, but yes, that it's coming back to me now that you say that. Totally. Any last thoughts on tennis before we move on to badminton? Because I have a question about badminton. We're good.
Uh, yeah, I think we're good.
Tennis is solid. I think it's like I said. I think it's the closest one
Yeah.
to its
More,
predecessor.
maybe more courts. Was it just the one court the entire time? At least that's what it was for
Yeah.
me.
I think I saw two.
I think
It was just
I saw an
online
orange.
versus local,
Are those
maybe.
are those different courts online and local? Because I saw like one
I don't
orange
know.
one and I have one green one in my
I
normal. But I don't
think
know.
I
It's in my brain.
now, yeah, granted, this game is like aimed for like casual players and stuff. I do think it would be cool. Like, granted, this isn't like a sim tennis game either, but like with Mario Tennis, how the ball reacted to the different kinds of courts you could unlock
Mm.
mattered
Maybe
in terms of
one of them's raining, so it's a lot harder to get perfect stuff or something. I don't know.
yeah, raining, clay, concrete, all that stuff did
Totally.
Yep.
affect like how I would play. I think that would be cool.
I think that goes
And
across the board for all sports. Like just a little more variety in like the
yeah,
arenas or the courts or what have you.
and again, I'm not a game developer, but it shouldn't like I mean it's the same. You could keep the actual like you just would change like the color or whatever of like the court,
Mhm.
right? So I think that would be cool.
Okay. Moving on to badminton. Why do I fall over when I play this game? Not in real life, but I mean like when you're playing badminton and
That one, yeah.
I hit the damn thing and my guy just and he just falls over. What am I doing wrong? What
I
am I
think it's
doing?
just I think it's just timing.
Okay.
Because
Mm.
it's that like uh because that's when I like want to get the best at because yeah, it feels more personal for some reason
It does, dude.
with badminton than the sword one is pretty personal too.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's like when they hit it across the court to you and you like rush to hit it real quick because your guy will get there eventually.
Mhm.
And it's just timing to hit it back without losing your footing. So if you just try to like swing it too early, your guy will like dive and hit it, and then they'll just like smack it.
Like
you think.
I understand the strat is to use the right bumper to make it do like a slice down, and then they jump up, and then that's when you run up and you smack it to the back end corner or whatever. Like I understand that strat,
Mhm.
but like I would do the thing to hit it straight up and go like straight down again. My guy would just fall over, and I'm like I'm doing something wrong. My guy's drunk. I don't know what's going on. He falls over every 10 seconds. I hate it. So badminton for me did not work, but I still felt like, this is a 1v1 meet me on the court one. Like, this
I
is the
wish
one where
Mhm.
it's gonna go back and forth. Like, I get
that
it.
one was the one where I was like, I want to rematch this person. Like
Yeah.
they beat me 4 or 5-0 or 5-1. I was like, but two of their goals were like, again, this was the one where I had not a lot, but like it happened like 3 or 4 times where like I would do like a little like swing or like a little motion to swing and like it wouldn't do it. So like it was like they served it. They did a little pop up serve, and I'm like just casual, and I go like that, and my dude like the Joy-Con like or the racket goes like this
Mhm.
across, but it doesn't hit. I'm like what? And
Okay, cool.
so now when I play badminton, I'm like swinging it like just to make sure the Joy-Con gets like the picture of what
Totally.
I'm trying to
Mhm.
do.
Yeah. Yeah. So that one didn't work for
Yeah.
me personally, but it was just
It
I think I was it's not for me.
Yeah,
unlike tennis, I mean, I don't say unlike, but like more so than tennis, badminton's just all about the timing. It's
Yep.
yeah,
all timing.
hmm
In my
yeah,
notes, I have more touchy tennis.
yeah, yeah.
That's what it
Basically,
is.
yeah.
Again, interesting to like take a look at the whole package. It's interesting that they went with two like very similar
Yeah.
I
sports.
thought that was weird too. I thought you could have just thrown that into tennis and then had it
Yeah,
like a badminton mode or something.
yeah. Now,
Mhm.
yeah, I for me, I like badminton more because there is more complexity with the touch of hitting it. But yeah,
Maybe more of the playtesters or what have you, whatever they do at Nintendo, maybe they shared that sentiment, and that's why it's its own mode, you know? Who knows?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's interesting that out of the six, there's two that are like very similar.
Sure. Okay. Any last things on badminton, or can I move on to Chambara or whatever
I
it's
want to
called?
rematch. What was the lady's name? Like Polly or something. She cooked me, man. I was like,
Yeah.
ah.
You mentioned rematch, and that I did have a moments in that where, like, I was playing tennis with Hallie online, I think, or something along those lines. And we win like 7-5, right? And we have another one
Mhm.
with someone else, and we win where we lose 5-7. It's like these are moments where I want to rematch them because like it was a good back and forth, and I enjoyed it. And it was fun. It was
Yep.
hype, but there's no rematch button. Like I think
Mhm.
there needs to be a rematch button. But what do I know? Okay, Chambara. There's three modes, right? We got like the normal sword, we have the charged sword, then we have twin swords. This is the
Uh,
mode that seemed the most dope, but I can't get it down. Like you have to basically mirror to block, right? So if they're like at a right angle, you
you have
gotta be
to
at a left angle.
you have to be
Mhm.
perpendicular.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would do that and I would totally understand it. I just suck. I just couldn't do it. So what do you guys
Th-
think?
this one was the one that maybe love the most
Oh,
in terms of like
cool.
just getting into it, getting intense and the
Mhm.
hype. Like, oh my gosh, the sudden death mode in this game is incredible. Like
Yeah.
when the ring shrinks, and I brought this up when I was playing it, but it made me think of Dodgeball, the movie, when they're in the
Yes.
sudden death and they're in their tiny little triangles and they can't move. And it was
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, because the first time I did sudden death, I was like, oh shit. So I was like almost like a Luke Skywalker. Like I just like breathed in, I blocked, or yeah, Peter Lafleur. Like I let the other guy make the first move. I blocked it, and then bam, sent him into the water. And I was like, let's go! Like it was so hype. I do like
I,
the complexity of the different swords. It was
Mhm.
fun to play with the twin swords. I felt more aggressive.
there's like a finisher move with twin swords that I was like, this is dope. I like this a lot. It was the only way I could ever win is when I would just use the finisher move and I'd get him off. That's the only way I could win. I couldn't win at normal. I couldn't win at charge sword. Twin swords. I'm like, this is anime as fuck, and I am gathering up this energy and hiya, front flip or whatever the hell it was. That was dope. That got me.
Spin move.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The complexity of the swords it feels so fun. Like with the twin swords, I felt more aggressive for some reason.
That was
Um,
cool.
I don't know if there's any like depth to like the defensive capabilities in terms of like do you like have stamina or like you can't block as much with twin swords. It was harder to guard, I feel, against twin swords because like it was like I was watching this guy and he's like moving his swords in different ways. I'm like, okay, which one is he gonna swing with? Like, it's like I don't know, but
Mhm.
I ended up just rocking the single blade.
I thought it
Eh,
was interesting that you can go in with twin swords and they can come in with a single sword or whatever or what have you. And I'm like, that's
Yep.
really cool. Like if you just
mhm,
want to flex on him, just like a normal sword, and I have twin swords, and he fucking beats my ass, like, no, god damn it.
yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. Okay, any last
I
thoughts on
enjoyed
Gym
using the
Bar?
charge
Yeah,
sword, because then you
yeah.
get the block. If it's a little bit more defensive, but you get those charge. You get that like power strike, and it gets a little bit more knockback. But
See, I never used that
yeah,
one. I used it once and I got my ass kicked. So I was like, okay. I was like, I didn't want to use it anymore because like I kept trying to block and the dude was just like reading my every move, and so.
hmm
But that's cool. Yeah, again, the complexity with the more defensive with the charge, maybe more offensive with the twin blades, and then kind of like the middle
hmm
ground with the single blade. It was a lot of fun.
It was
I'll
just
say,
dope. Just the imagery of the swords, and you have two of them, and you're just flipping them back and forth. It just looks cool,
mhm.
right?
Hmm.
I'll say a cool touch I noticed was whenever you just win a regular match, not in sudden death, your opponent, whoever loses, they're not like, or they're fine. But then if you win in sudden death, at least the one time I won, your opponent was like still dripping wet from the water.
Hmm.
It's like
So
insult
this
to
is neat.
injury.
Just basically, yeah, because like they still show them like soaking wet and all that. So I just thought it was a neat little touch.
Totally. Yeah. Okay, move on to volleyball. Volleyball surprised me, guys. Volleyball is a game I couldn't stop
Hmm
playing. Volleyball, I played for like 2 hours straight because I got into it and it was for okay. I don't know what compelled me to do this. Starting volleyball, I went straight to powerhouse and I said no tutorial, and I just picked it up. And
Oh,
apparently, I was born to play this game until I played
Whoa.
online. Until I played online, but I was doing good online for a while, and then I found some people that know what they're doing with the moving the character and stuff. And that's what I mean, where you
gotcha.
have to move. You have to be moving your character eventually. But
Okay.
yeah, I was bumping, setting, and spiking like crazy, dude. I almost at the beginning, I almost every single time was like bit early, bit early, bit early, bit early. Like you have to wait until the ball is essentially through your body, and then hit
Yeah,
it to go up. And that
Hmm
seems weird,
that
but
was
it's a video game. It's fine. It's not supposed to be realistic in that sense. So like once you get that down and in your head, you got it. You're fine. You just gotta wait like a half second longer than you think, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah,
But so
that's
I
literally
got in the
all,
groove. Go ahead.
or just Switch sports is in general. It's just timing. You get that timing down for all these games, you're good.
mhm. I
Totally.
did feel like with volleyball, I think um uh like the variety of motions you have to do was so fun.
Mhm.
I feel like with uh
If we're talking complexities, volleyball is probably the most complex because you have to know how to bump it, you have to know how to set it, you have to know how to spike it, and it's always like a rotating thing of what you're doing. Like it just kind of goes that way. So like I loved it, and it was filled with hype for me. Like of all things, like the Chimbara super attack, and then this like going back and forth. I'm like I even have it in my notes somewhere. I think I probably deleted it, but I was like hype, huh? Not a word I thought I would express for Nintendo Switch Sports, but I was hyped. Like if I win at the last second, I'm like, yes, I get that final spike to the corner and they dive for it and they miss. Like I'm like, let's go! Like I was so hyped. Yeah, I loved it.
You
yeah.
get the two times nice, get the faster speed going.
Get that purple ball or
Mm,
whatever.
I haven't
yeah,
got
I
purple
Totally.
yet. I got the gold, but
Oh, maybe it goes purple then gold or gold then purple. I don't know. I've got purple, so whatever it is, I got it.
for me with the spiking, initially I was like just slamming it down and like sometimes it would just go in random directions and I was like, what the heck is
Mhm.
going on here? And then like one of the tutorials popped up in between the loading screens and it was like, yeah, if you twist it or whatever, like that'll kind of determine it. And I was like, oh,
hmm
that's perfect because with the blocking, like it felt like
Oh, that too. I love blocking.
dude, oh my,
You're just a wall.
the timing of the blocking is, I love that. That's probably my favorite part of volleyball. If I'm up
yep,
front and they're coming and they're jumping up and I'm like, I'm waiting. And
yep,
then you jump, you like do the motion to jump up
Uh-huh.
and you block it. And
Uh-huh.
the best is like it goes to the other dude and they hit it, but then it like, kind of like just dunks off to the left or something. And it's like, oh my gosh, that dude is, the other guy's so mad at him. Like, yes, like we're
Yep.
scoring. It's the
He's like,
best.
it's like in basketball when you get blocked. Like, get that shit out of here! Come on, you ain't got nothing. This is
hmm
my house on this side. You
Yeah.
you ain't got Get over here. Yeah, that was fun.
Mhm.
You time it by like as soon as they jump, you wait like a half second and then you jump, and it's
Mhm.
pretty much a no fail once you get it down. But
Yeah.
the thing that got me because I'm kind of half playing right. I got cocky. I'm playing volleyball. I'm talking to my fiance, whatever. And they did the thing where they hit it late on purpose at the last second, and they go straight up in the air and then just fall straight down. And I just was not paying attention, and this ball just slowly falls into my side and hits the court. And I'm like,
Oh,
huh,
jeez.
cool. Didn't know you could do that. So I learned the hard way on that one.
The thing with volleyball too, this is like I don't know, it's weird. So many times I would spike it and it looked like it was out, and like the marker was like right on the white line or whatever. I don't know
Well,
how.
in volleyball, it has to barely touch that line and it's in. Like I mean, barely touch the
Yeah.
line and it's in.
Yep.
Really. Yeah, like it
It's
was one of
basically
those
the
things where I
opposite
was
of
like,
tennis.
oh, okay. See, I don't like watch a lot of volleyball or play a lot of volleyball, so I was like, I'm like, am I? Like, it looked like it was out, and then the camera would zoom in, and it's like in, and it's like the line is like this, and it's like barely touching the outside of it. I'm like, okay,
It
I
has
got.
to be a sliver. Has to be a
I was like,
sliver of it touching. Then
I'll take the point, but yeah.
totally, I'm with you. But then you act like you're like, oh yeah, I knew that was in. What are you talking about?
Hmm. Hmm.
Pinpoint accuracy. You kidding me? Come on. Any last thoughts on volleyball?
No, fun. Surprisingly fun.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that was one that surprised me the most because like there was no volleyball. Was there
Mhm.
volleyball in resort or is it a
Ooh,
Not that
I
I
don't
brand
know
new
know.
of.
thing? Okay.
I think
I
it's
don't
brand
know.
new.
Whether that I think that's the standout like new thing for me personally. I think volleyball takes the cake on that one. I think bowling is still better, but like bowling's amazing. Like bowling's great.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Uh, okay, and then the other new one is soccer. In my notes, I just have human Rocket League, which is really funny because it like soccer.
Yep.
So that's
Honestly,
car
yeah.
soccer, not yeah. But it does feel like that. It does seem a little limited controller wise, especially if you bought it digitally. Like that seems a little weird. Like there's a whole mode there you just can't play. Not that I think it's really worth your time. Like I don't. I think you're fine missing out on it. I think you'll live.
I did play it,
Um,
so.
I did think it was cool that you didn't play soccer at all.
Or no, I didn't play the shootout or whatever.
Got
The
it. Got
one
it.
that
Got
you
it.
needed the
Yeah.
leg strap for.
And I could have. I have a leg, as I put in my notes,
Oh,
leg
same.
starp, leg starp, not leg strap, leg starp.
Yeah,
I have
it's
one
right here.
somewhere. I just didn't care enough. So I mean,
I just don't have the room.
I probably should have for the review. So I mean, whatever. I probably should have done it, but I looked it up, and people are like, "Yeah, it's fine." Like it's just timing,
Mhm.
which is everything. But like, it's literally just you can kick it pretty much whatever way you want, as long as you just time it perfectly. It'll go on the goal.
Hmm.
So, I thought it was really cool how you can chain kicks, and if you chain your kick, you just keep jumping higher, higher, higher in the air. I think it does stop at 3, but, like, if there's a really high hit towards your goal, you jump and then kick, 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 and that's how you block it. I thought that was cool.
Oh,
Oh,
didn't know
I
that.
I didn't even know that. Wow.
I
Okay.
learned that the hard way because I hit it as high as I possibly could to the goal. I'm like, "Yeah, easy goal," and then I see some guy do, like, a freaking Dragon Ball Z move, and I'm like, duh." I did have a really dope save where like I'm racing back, right? There's no one in our goal and they're kicking it, and I do the header right at the last second, and it hits
Mhm.
my head, hits the corner, and flies off, and it scores a goal on the other side. I'm like, what? Like
Oh, that's cool.
that was hype. That was cool.
I saw a save
But
on Twitter today from I think it was Mike Bithell, where he literally saved it at the last possible, like because it
that
was
was, dude.
like
I'm telling you, I have
has
it
that
saved on my Switch.
animation, and it was like literally like in the goal basically.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, I did some of those
Um,
on Rocket League too. That's really fun. Saving in Rocket League, I feel like is way more complex than this, but this is
Mhm.
it's still fun to
yeah.
save. Playing goalie is kind of lame sometimes because you're just kind of sitting there for a while. Yeah, go ahead.
This one feels the most involved controls wise in
Totally
terms
agree.
of using the left
Mhm.
stick to move, using the right stick to control your camera, the different kicks you can do, the jump.
You can
Um,
kick with both legs, which I didn't know until halfway through. I was just kicking
oh,
with my right foot because I'm right-handed, so that was just dominant hands. I'm just doing this, and then I
mhm.
was just kind of like celebrating, and my guy's like, "Phoom, phoom," and I'm like, I have a left leg. What? I can use that sucker. So yeah, you can kick with both legs.
And I do like the how there's like tactics to it, like uh, you know,
Same as Rocket
you're
League, really, just like
you,
with
yeah,
more compact.
like, it's literally soccer. So like
Mhm.
you're running around, you're like, "Oh, all my teammates are, like, running super aggressively, maybe I should hang back," and, like, playing the field and, um, shooting it high, shooting it low, depending on where the other players are, what you think they're gonna do.
And you can
Um
pass if you hold the controller, you'll pass it to it instead of just kicking it. You'll pass it to a teammate. I thought that was cool. I also think
yeah.
it's really cool how if you score a goal, if you do a header, you do the slide, and you're like screaming
Yeah.
and cheering, you slide.
Accidentally.
You can just like jump and do things like when you score. If you do little stuff, they have little celebrations in there. I thought that was a nice
Mhm.
touch.
I didn't know that.
Because
I
the
liked
default's
it.
just like the arms out. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Over time, the goals get bigger. The little door
Oh,
panel
I didn't know
shift
that.
and make
I
it
don't
bigger.
I don't know if that's completely true. Hold on. I know like when it goes into extra time, the goal expands. I never saw the goal just like get exponentially bigger as you played, but if you go into the
Oh no,
time
yeah,
elapsed,
it just expands once. Yeah,
yeah, once the time
yeah.
elapses and you're in free time or extra time or like it's 2-2, the goal just gets bigger because it's like
Mhm.
let's end this now. That's a great touch because that if
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't if you're going 2-2 back and forth for a while, that extra time could go for another 5 minutes. Like I don't want that. I want to get this done right now. Like let's go. So really nice
Yeah.
touch. I enjoyed that.
The dribbling is super fun.
I always failed at that. I was trying to, but are
Yeah,
you just running into it? Like, is that all you're doing? Okay.
yeah, and just like you see the other player just like okay, I'm gonna like go around the ball this way, set it up, fake him out, all that stuff. The sprint was very cool. Like
Ninety percent of 90% of this game is just you sprinting, and you're just trying as hard as you can, and your little guy's going as fast as he can.
well, you don't have a lot of sprint in terms of like you sprint and it's like almost empty immediately, and then it recovers so slow.
You have to you have
You
to
have to
save
like
it.
pick and choose, yeah, when
Yep.
you want to
And then
sprint. Which,
when you use a header, it takes like a chunk, like a big chunk, and you're like, fuck.
yeah,
Damn.
yeah. So I like that too, so it's not just everyone like, you know, Quicksilver sprinting all over the place. Like you actually have to
Yeah.
pay attention to what you're
So
doing. So a lot of fun. Yeah, getting an overtime goal, winning 1-0. A lot of my games were low
dude,
scoring. I don't know if that
dude,
was just me, but
scoring goal game was 4-0, and that was like the first game you play, and blah blah blah.
yeah.
But every time I lost, I'm up 2-0, right? In the last like 10 seconds, there's the golden ball. And what do? They score in the last
What
10
is
seconds.
that? Yeah,
And
what is
now,
that
now it's
BS, man?
2-2, and I'm already tired, and I can't do anything. I'm tired of this match, and then they have the advantage, and I lose 3-2. Every freaking time, dude.
That made me think of Fall Guys when with the soccer minigame in Fall Guys, and they would
Oh,
drop like
yeah.
the
Golden egg
special,
or whatever.
yeah, and I'm like, what? Like, obviously it's casual and it's
Oh, no, I
made
like the
to come
golden ball.
back.
Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed
Oh,
the
me
action of
too,
it.
me
It's just,
too.
God damn it.
Yeah, me too. And it's smaller too. Yeah, it's great.
Loved it. Okay, that is sport by sport. So my overall recommendation for Nintendo Switch Sports, we give it a 7.5. I think it's a solid product worth your time. I do think there's a possibility that you could get burned with like the lack of variety and all
Mhm.
that stuff. And like if you're, I don't know why you would, but I'm sure there are people out there who are like maybe you just want to play locally. You just want to play with like your significant other and that's it. You can't earn cosmetics, so your little sportsmates are going to be generic as hell forever. Like if you can't earn it at all locally, you're just gonna look generic.
Just
That's
use
just
meats.
Hopefully
just
they
use me.
change that, like
Yeah,
in
I
a
think
patch or something.
like we talked about, I think 5, 10 every time you play. If you're just playing casually and this is what you do every once in a while, you're gonna over time build that up and be able to unlock stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, as
Um,
long as you can, would that mean the cosmetics would have to come baked into the game because it can't get it from online? Hold
they
them
should be in
True.
the
like
game
Yeah.
already, right?
you understand what I'm saying, right? Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but like unlocking them wouldn't be. You know what I mean? Because you have to earn that from like the store. That you know what I'm talking about?
From those
I don't know.
Yeah.
passes.
That
Yeah.
I don't know how it works, but that all felt client side. All that stuff
It could be
felt
an update
in
though.
the
You're
game
right. There's
already.
update
Yeah.
in the back end where it shoots all those cosmetics in there in the back end, and then you can unlock them that way. Like totally.
It was interesting with this. Not that it's the first game to do this or whatever. Of like, I booted it up, I put it in my Switch. I'm like, let's check for an update because a lot of Nintendo games I buy
Oh,
physical.
the controllers. Yeah.
Yeah, my Joy
Yeah,
Cons need to be updated.
yeah. Was like, you buy like I remember buying Twilight Princess HD, and obviously that's like a remaster, so it's a little bit different. But I was like, update, and I was like, nope, just go. And I was like, does this game have an update? And I was like, yep. And then yeah, the Joy Cons had to update because I haven't used them in who knows how long.
I think they
um,
did push out an update for this game to like help maybe make them, because like
Yeah,
I had two Joy Cons like that I was gonna be playing with, and then two ones to charge on my dock,
mhm,
and all four of them needed to be updated. So
yep,
mhm.
yep. Yeah. So overall,
I
I
think it
think
was just, yeah.
it's it's a solid product. It's really fun. I think it's worth your time. It's more concise controls, but I do think there's a slight possibility you could feel a little burned by the lack of variety in like the 6 games that are there and the cosmetics if you're only playing locally.
With so there's this YouTuber ACG. You guys have probably heard of him. He has the buy, wait for sale, or don't touch.
That's my next line. Give me one second.
Yeah,
I put buy if you intend to play this how it's like marketed, where it's like play online, play with a squad, or for parties. Like it, because if you're just playing at a party when you have friends over, you're not gonna give a shit about fucking cosmetics. You're not gonna care.
Exactly.
Like it.
Yeah.
You're just there. You're gonna bowl against Heather, Martha, whoever your old friends are.
Why'd you say
Aunt,
that name?
Aunt Heather, Aunt Martha. You know what I'm talking about. They're gonna get in there. They're gonna play. They're gonna throw their hip out. It's fun. Great time. But yeah, if you intend to play this online with a squad or for a family party or whatever, I think it's totally worth your money. And do you guys agree with that sentiment?
Oh,
Yeah,
100%,
especially
yeah.
the digital edition for $40. Yeah.
That's what I got. Digital edition. Let's go. I only do digital games except for Pokemon, which is it doesn't make any sense. But yeah. Okay. Any last words? I think we covered a lot of stuff. 7.5.
Yeah, I think again, just the nostalgia, like it just brought back that feeling of playing Wii Sports. Like my brother lives like an hour away from me, and when I got my Wii, like I got another Wii controller instead of a game, so that because Wii Sports came with the Wii, so I was like, that way like we could play together. And I texted him, and I was like, dude, we got to play Switch Sports. It's like the same thing again. So it's fun to recapture that vibe a little bit again, because like Wii Sports is like one of the iconic video games of all time. You know, in terms of sales, it's like
Probably
50 million more
I don't
or
think
more.
it's even arguable that it's the best pack-in game ever. Like I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think there's anything that can stand up against it, honestly. Like
Super Mario Bros. Or World, those are up there.
was the duo whatever that was called on the cartridge where it's like 2 or 3 of them in one cartridge? Was
Duck
that a
Hunt,
pack-in? No,
Duck
no, no.
Hunt, and Mario Bros.
All
Maybe it was
Stars.
that. All Stars. Thank you. That's what I'm thinking of. Was that a pack-in?
Super
No,
Mario All Stars.
Okay.
I
I
don't
thought that
think
was
it
a
was.
pack-in. I thought if that was a pack-in, holy shit!
Yeah.
Like not even close. But yeah, I think it's at least arguable that that's the best pack-in game like of all time. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
No, I actually agree with you because Mario is less accessible than what Wii Sports was. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Those are our thoughts. 7.5. Nintendo Switch Sports. That's shared screen score. 7.5. There it is. Going across the screen. Just kidding, Alec. You don't have to do that. But I thought it'd be funny.
Chance editing this one, so.
Oh yeah. Chance, it's up to you, I guess. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.